What's going on, everybody? Shalom. As y'all mostly know, this channel, I'm mostly covering my journey, taking my Yeshua King of Kings, Lord of Lords flag from Brandon, Florida to Bandon, Oregon. However, in this video, I do want to talk on a little bit of political and social issues. It's come to my attention lately over the past couple years. A lot of people are calling the people Spaniards or Spanish or even white, and not that it's super important to the kingdom, but at the same time it is, and I'm going to tie it in at the end, so stick around to the end. I have some thoughts I want to share and even some pictures I want to show to compare and contrast some examples of what people from Spain today look like versus the people of Mexico versus some Native Americans here in the US, to kind of get a comparison and contrast with the ethnic features. Growing up and my whole life, I was never considered a white person. I was never treated as a white person. I was never looked at by other white people as a white person, even being half white. Even my own white family, frankly. I don't think anybody other than my mom in my own white family has ever acknowledged me as a white person. Said, this is a white man, a half white man, or whatever. Obviously I'm part of the family, but as far as being white like the family, I've never even been considered white by my own family. But yet somehow over the past couple years, all of a sudden people want to see Mexicans are white. Mexicans are just Spanish. We're not even Hispanic anymore. We're Spanish. We're Spaniards. We've always been treated like Indians. We've always been treated like we're brown-skinned Indians, like we're different. Even if, some people have a less than attitude and some people don't. That's reality. Some people do treat us like we are less than for not being white, and a lot of people don't. But even the people that don't, there is clearly this, okay, you're white and I'm not white. Statement of reality, sure. I'm not complaining about the fact that people acknowledge there's a difference between my skin and yours. There's a difference sometimes in how I pronounce words versus how you pronounce them. That's fine to acknowledge the fact that there is that difference. And it's cool. And we don't have to pretend like that difference no longer exists. But I know what it is. People don't want to face the historical fact that most Mexicans are indigenous people, because that's an argument that's being used for the pro-open border side of things. But what I'm saying has nothing to do with open the border or close the border. I'm saying simply historical facts. What is the genetic heritage of Mexican people? Most, not all, but most Mexican people is that they are mostly indigenous with some Spaniard. Now, there are all kinds of other people throughout Mexico, but that is the majority. 60 to 80% of Mexicans are DNA species, talking just DNA, more on the indigenous side than they are on the Spaniard side. There are also full-blooded Spaniards and there are full-blooded indigenous. About 18% of Mexico, actually, the population of Mexico, according to the last 2020 census, I believe, the 18% of the population of Mexico is full-blooded indigenous people who live with their tribe, who speak their language and practice their specific tribe's culture, not the overall, umbrella Mexican mestizo culture, but their actual tribe's culture, as much as they've been able to preserve since pre-Spanish days, pre-Cortez. Millions, literally millions, more than 2 million people in Mexico today speak an indigenous language as their first language. Nahuatl, Maya, Yoeme, Raramuri, and a whole lot of those people are coming to the U.S. as well, legally, illegally, etc. There are all kinds of people that you're calling a Spaniard that don't have one drop of Spanish blood. Look with your eyes. Most Mexicans are not the color white. Most Mexicans do not look white like most people of European ancestry do. Most Mexicans are either mixed, have mixed features, mixed phenotypes of Europe and indigenous America, or they are pretty much just indigenous. Alright, y'all, so just real quick, I got some examples of different people from Spain, different people, Mexicans and Mexican Americans, as well as some Native Americans from different tribes from the United States. To compare and contrast, are Mexicans more look like Spaniards and resemble the Spaniards or the Native Americans? Let's find out. Or are they a lot of mixture between the two? Let's find out. So here's some Spaniards. You can see some blue eyes, some light skin, some blonde hair, more blonde hair, and a lot of light skin. These are just random Spaniard people on the streets. Now here's an example to compare. Here's Mexicans. So here's some Spaniards, here's some Mexicans. So far all women, Spaniard women, Mexican women. Here we see different Mexicans with different features. The one on the bottom right looks a little bit more like the India Maria, like a native woman, and then the one above her with the cowgirl hat definitely looks way more like a Spaniard. You can definitely see there's a lot of Spaniard in at least one, maybe two of these women, a lot of indigenous in the other. Here's a Apache man and Apache woman from the White Mountain Apache tribe in Arizona. Here's some more Spaniards. This couple looks a little bit more like they may be Arab, but definitely still very white. Got those features. Again, here's Spain. This is Spain. See what the crowd looks like there, all Spaniards. And now here's a comparison. Here's Mexicans, Spaniards, Mexicans, Native Americans, Apaches. So far, are the Mexicans looking more like Spaniards, or are the Mexicans looking like Native Americans, or are the Mexicans looking like they may be somewhere in between? This is a beach in Spain. Looks like it could be a beach in California or Florida, especially right there. This looks like it could be a majority white town. That is Spain. That is the beaches of Spain right there. There's some Mexicans, of course, making their way through the desert track. You know, I'm gonna give credit to the people who are calling us Spanish. I think they have a point. We definitely resemble the Spaniards there. That guy is a Spaniard. That guy does not have one drop of any Native American, American Indian, indigenous, Mexican indigenous, whatever you want to call it, blood, Indio. That's not him. He doesn't look like this guy. This is Apache, man. This Apache don't look like that Mexican at all. That Mexican looks like he's straight out of Spain. But that's Mexican. Are Mexicans Spanish? And isn't that a Mexican? He looks Mexican. No, that's an Apache. Okay. Those guys are from Spain. Are we sure? It's a Mexicana right there. She looks like she might be part black, part indigenous. Got indigenous people behind her, but she looks like she might be part black. But that's Mexicana. That's a Mexicano. That's a Native American. That's a Navajo. Spaniard, Spanish. Navajo, Spaniard, Mexicano. Mexicanos, Mexicans. That guy, he's a little hairy. He might have a bit of Spaniard in him. For the most part, this kind of looks more like an indigenous people. Here's a group of Navajos and Apaches mostly. One Paiute Shoshone woman, one woman who is half Navajo, half Lakota and Blackfeet, and then one half Chicano, half white Irish man in the top left. Do you see any significant difference between the facial features, the ethnic features of these people? Significant difference. And here's an example of two Mexican Chicanos, two Americans of Mexican ancestry, and three Americans that are Navajo, Apache, Native Americans. You spot the difference. If you didn't know what I looked like and which person here is me, could you tell who in this picture? For sure, you could bet your life. Those two are Mexican, those three are natives. Which ones are they? Now again, that is not saying in modern day, now that we have for many hundreds of years established these countries, not just this country, but also countries, try going illegally into this country, Mexico. Before 30 seconds ago, this was not a political video, but now if we want to bring a little bit of politics into it, modern day politics, okay, you know, regardless of what personal feelings, where we believe a border should be, or whether we believe a border should or should not exist, the reality is there is laws in every country of this continent. There is laws as a man of Yah, my goal is not skin color or even a country. As much as I love, where I come from, I love where I live. And another thing too with that is, Yeshua said, blessed are the peacemakers. And Yeshua also said, they shall know the truth and the truth shall set them free. Now, ultimately, he was talking about truth with a capital T. Truth with a capital T, talking about, he is the way, the truth, and the life, the great news of him, of Yeshua. And at the same time, I believe there is application to when we, as people, when we see that there is arguments going on in our society, back and forth, a lot of the same argument happening with lies being told on both sides, it is up to us as men and women of Yah to be, and especially as men of Yah, to be those peacemakers, to step in with truth, to step in, hey, I'm hearing a lot of lies. This is a back and forth, senseless argument with a lot of lies. Let me come in, bring a little bit of truth to this topic, remind y'all whether it's truth with a capital T, the biblical truth, or whether, in this case, just truths, true things, the truths, the facts on the situation to whatever lies are being told in this particular circumstance. But ultimately, this right here is my flag. Yeshua, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Right now, World Cup going on, and with Penance Week underplay, I've decided to be all things to all people, to come as to the Gentile, I come as a Gentile, to American, I come as American, to Mexican, Chicanos, I come as a Chicano, but I'm repping my banner, my kingdom is Yeshua, the kingdom of Yah. No sovereign but Yah, no king but Yeshua. I have no ultimate devotion to any earthly kingdom. My devotion, I pledge my only allegiance to the kingdom of Yah. And I know a lot of people that wear clothes like this are not going to be happy hearing that, but that's okay, because I'm not America first. I'm Yeshua first. I'm Yeshua first all day, and I happen to be an American of Mexican and Irish ancestry. And I love that, and it's all good, and it's cool to celebrate that that's the body and the culture and the country that Yah put me in. Yet ultimately, this is my kingdom.